seems like East LA gets a bad rep because of its historical representation. That definitely has an influence on your upbringing because it just gets you mad and you don't know how to express it. So sometimes you express it with anger, with your music. I think that's a good thing because it gives us a spotlight in which to now redefine this narrative. And I think that's a very powerful thing, and it's a very unintended thing. I don't think Donald Trump makes or is trying to create the spotlight on us, but he already did. And so now, motherfucker, here we are, and we're gonna exploit it, and we're gonna make it right. We're gonna do right by it because, hey, here we are, and we're not going away.
Here we are now, entertain us.
Cheesy. It's like Kurt Cobain for you. We went through a series of band names, very strange. Some of them were really good. Renee had, like, for example, one of the band names, Happy Hunting Grounds or Koi Nihilism. Our little brother suggested a Condom Party. And it wasn't until our first bassist, Tim, he let me borrow a couple documentaries, one of which was this documentary called Reclaiming the Commons. And I was very intrigued by it because it had a very utopian ideal of what the commons could be. And it's essentially this area or this land or this, I guess, community in which everybody works together and thrives together and reaps the benefits of the community. It became into this more aesthetic, philosophical idea in which the utopian idea of commons extends to music and art. And artists, we take from it and we give to it and we create our own idea of this. And because we create our idea from what's already been created, we in a sense submit into this now commons, and now it's no longer ours. 2017, and things have been looking very prosperous for us, and we thank God.
Oh, you believe in God now?
But, you know, we gotta be grateful because this year we got asked to play Coachella, which to a lot of our peers, a lot of our friends, they see it as like, wow, that's a very big moment. To us, it's just like, wow, it's like, this is a starting ground.
Porque la joven que amaba en un tiempo ahora es dueña de otro corazón. Oh shit, we're gonna fuck this girl's day up right now. Y a las 11 se embarca Lupita. Se va a embarcar en un buque de vapor.
You're gonna do Robert Trujillo? All right, I'm gonna do, fuck.
I'll do Brian Wilson. Those look pretty epic though, they fit him for the epic ones. It's that fucking beard. You look good. Now put your bass down.
Again?
Pretend you're riding a horsey on your fucking wheel. Sick.
Work that camera. Cause David's working you guys. Come on, let me see that shit. David! David! Too much? All right. See that, Lance?
Come on.
You should get some if you can, like this service too. I think they'll accept it.
Ah, fuck it, embrace it.
Hey, you look good from here, Omar.
And that's my best angle. When I'm teabagging you.
He's lying to you. You look like a cucumber.
I just see like fucking Mexicans, really tall, long hair to there everywhere, and they're setting up the shit. And I just remember there was a lot of hype about it. And I've never actually been to a venue that small. I've never been to a venue that small that had such a hype from a band. And so when I saw these guys perform and they were getting people dancing, I realized, I was like, oh, this is a good act. I saw David at school, and I shoved my phone in his face, and I told him, is that you, motherfucker? He's like, yeah, that's me. Basically, just like that.
Nah. And immediately he's like, hey, so I noticed that you guys have a bunch of different basses. So if you guys ever need a bassist, let me know. I play like all sorts of like, rock and roll music and like indie rock. I'm in an indie rock band. And when he said indie rock, I'm like, yeah, nah. And then the day he saved himself, he told me, he's like, well, I also play in a norteño band. And then that's when I'm just like, oh, cool.
Oh, okay, so one thing, I've never had big brothers.
You can tell he never got told no growing up.
Yeah, that's right. Never got told no. So like, I'm a bit spoiled. It could be a little bit too much for these guys. I see that too. But
That's not true.
But yeah, that's cool
I
too.
always feel it the other way around.
You guys are too much for me?
Yeah.
No, you guys are
When is
wonderful.
this guy just gonna go?
You guys, no, I have a lot of patience for you guys. You guys are really cool.
Alright, I need fire. We got live mic.
Yes, sir.
Got a live bomb in here. My knuckles. Esta es la canción de la camisa al revés. That's it for this part. It's a warm summer night in East LA. One of those warm nights that encapsulates the East LA energy, right? We're walking up this house, we're walking into the stairs, and from a distance I could hear a boom, boom, boom. This bass line that I hear at backyard parties, quinceañeras, bautizos. Everybody's dancing in this room. I'm in there walking in like a stranger, like an alien, first time visiting Earth. But this is my first time visiting a cumbia scene, which is outside of my tia or my grandma dancing to it, This is like younger people listening to it. It opened up a new world of sounds, of rhythms, of pretty much musical abilities that
was
eventually
familiar.
were familiar, exactly. It had that familiarity that we can hold on to, but yet it was so foreign being from East LA.
Look who just dropped by.
Oh, hey. Oh, nice. Yeah, man, have a seat. Chill out. So, all right. Cumbia is music that usually manifested itself in backyards, in the ghettos, in the poor areas of Colombia. It wasn't considered a very high-class type of music. And so they had minimal instruments, they had a lot of drums, they made their own percussions, they had the accordion.
2, 3. You weren't even ready.
Yeah, go for it.
1, 2, 3.
Whoa. And then we all sing it together. Whoa. So now, at this point, we're completely butchering a cumbia because this melody is not very reminiscent of a traditional cumbia song. But this is kind of the beautiful thing, is that We don't know exactly how to recreate the traditional cumbia sound, but what we do know is to incorporate it in our own way, our own East LA fashion, being fans of Led Zeppelin, Sublime, Nirvana, different styles, and we just can't help it, right? The strumming for a cumbia would be right, and so because I play it in a very unique way, it kind of turns into this, right? And at first this was problematic for us because people would be like, that's not really the way you play it, it's kind of awkward. There was like a couple of years ago, I was playing a song for my uncle, and he told me, he's like, oh, I heard you play cumbia, and I told him, yeah, man. Well, I told him in Spanish, I'm like, sí, you know, estoy tocando unas cuantas cumbias. And so he's like, oh, all right, well, play one for me. And so I play him a cumbia, and you know, I get into it, right? In the middle of the night, we can try to fuck all night. Oh, censor that. Anyways, I finished my song, and my tío looked at me with this very kind of blank, almost nonchalant face, and he looked at me, and then he kind of just went like this, shook his head, and he said, you guys are giving cumbia a bad name. That's not the way you play it. Da, 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 da. Normally, I would have been offended, which I was a little bit at first, but it was actually very inspiring because it made me realize that, well, we're doing something different. We're changing it. We're making it our own, which is always a good thing, you know. So psychedelic cumbia punk, everybody's doing the whole 60s thing,
It was
you know,
influencing
throwback.
everyone.
And Renee and I were very frustrated by the fact that they didn't sound trippy. Like, they don't sound like Pink Floyd. They don't sound like shit that you're gonna drop some acid and shrooms to and just really trip out. So we're like, we're gonna redefine psychedelic by like, if you see us play live, you're gonna be like, what the, you know what? And then obviously Chicha music is known as quote unquote psychedelic cumbia from Peru. And also the same thing, we were disappointed. I'm like, this cumbia music does not sound psychedelic at all. And to us, our idea of psychedelic is like...
Let's be the bridge between what we want to hear and we're actually hearing.
And then that was the punk element. The punk element, not necessarily the oi, oi, or the Mohawks, but it was just that DIT mentality of like, let's do it together without having to wait for someone to tell you what to do. For telling you, you know, like, hey, you guys should try this. Like, no. This scene, which we were very much an underdog to, we kind of were, yeah, we were like just like this little like band, you know, that was just doing our thing, mixing cumbia and punk and rock and roll. And so these bands, they were straight up cumbia, Latin, rumba bands. And when we opened up for them, it was like a fucking like, who the hell are these guys? Why did you guys hire them to open up? And
Why are they so loud?
We eventually like grew apart because we needed to figure that out for ourselves. And it, like Renee said, it took us like 3 years. It took us a good while to finally like start molding and like making and perfecting what we have. And once we finally found that, then now we talk to these bands and they look at us now as equals and they see us like, wow, you guys still kept at it.
Like I told you, it wasn't like to impress anybody. It's more to like, you know, this is something we wanted to do. We wanted to be good at it. So if there was anybody who was challenging, it was ourselves. And everyone around us was an inspiration, even if they were telling us to stop or that we're doing it wrong.
Chicano music in East LA, there are bands like Los Lobos, The Midnighters, Question Mark and the Mysterious, Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs. And I was like, oh wow, these bands actually did a lot of things. Like they expanded from this, like just like the backyard scene. So I decided to add the D with the extra E, so that with the extra E. Because of the Midnighters and because gangs in the 60s would call themselves like the Locos or the Latosos. And the D had this like Middle English classic kind of vibe, and quote unquote, he says it made it sound more chingon, like more badass. But those 60s bands from East LA weren't us. I mean, like our parents who didn't grow up here in the US, so to them, they weren't playing that music when we were little kids. Our parents were playing, you know, Vicente Fernandez, Antonio Aguilar, Pedro Infantes. They were playing more traditional Mexican music, but we embraced it though. We're like, well, that is a part of like how our identity as Mexican Americans has evolved, but now we're reinterpreting it as musicians and feel like, okay, we need to understand this, know this, because this is a part of where we are.
We told you not to eat the fucking glitter. More skulls. What else do we need? We got streamers.
I just want shit that's like
Got some
across the
paper
air.
lanterns.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool to hang from the tree.
Well, we also have the.
All right, that's enough, dude. Because then we start
We also
buying
have that
a bunch
little
of
electric wire that we can hang stuff
shit.
with.
Last time I spent $150 here, man.
Yeah, I told you, we've been around a lot of that, like negative environment. Or at least I've seen a lot of it. I've seen somebody get stabbed. I've seen somebody get shot. And then just watch silhouettes, like bald-headed silhouettes in like baggy clothes running away, tossing rifles to each other, you know, like splitting up. And that's it. The next day, kid's dead, and that's it. Just another number, another bag, and that's that. So the real way I felt like about being a punk, or like if any kind of rebellion had to go on, it's through staying alive. You know, like not being one of those numbers. Like you don't put yourself in a obvious situation.
My goal actually is to inspire creativity, because I feel once you have creativity, then you can see different options, different alternatives in which your life is going to be. There's other ways of dealing with your anger or dealing with your oppression.
We're gonna do a little bit of songs, and then we'll get into the song that actually the music video, and then we'll let you know. So we'll be like, this is the song you go crazy to, and then you guys go crazy too. And if you have your animal mask, that's when you put them on too. Okay.
Say you're feeling murder, but it's just your word. Say you're feeling older, but you're still a jerk. So work it out. Oh, work it out. Oh, work it out.
So, yeah, cuando comenzamos a tocar, ¿qué estilo de música tocábamos?
¿Los inicios de ustedes?
Ajá, los inicios, cuando practicábamos acá en el garage, todavía no tocábamos la cumbia.
No, pura de inglés y cuando venía tu abuelita siempre les decía, hijos, canten la música en español, les va a ir más bien en español. Y fue cuando empezaron a tocar la de cumbia mix.
Ajá.
Ajá.
Sí, todos siempre los decían, tóquese música paisa, eso es lo que va a hacer el dinero.
Y vénmela y tócamela y ¿qué te prometió tu guitarra?
No, oh, pero nunca me la trajo de México.
¿Te debe tu guitarra todavía? Sí. A mí me gustaba, ves que un día me trajeron las mañanas de mi cumpleaños, ¿te acuerdas que hasta la policía vino y se paró ahí? Que nos calláramos. Y sale el René, le dice al policía, cuá, cuá, cuá. Le hizo como marranito porque el policía era un gordito. Pero sí me ha gustado tu música, aunque sea esa loca que hacían antes. Y ahora que ya ahora tocan la otra decían ustedes paisitas.
Ajá.
Ajá.
Cuando tú nos dijiste que querías organizar una banda, armar una banda, tu mamá y yo no estuvimos de acuerdo. Te dijimos, no vas a hacer ni una banda, porque supuestamente la banda, ya sabes lo que dice una banda y todo eso. Entonces supuestamente nosotros dijimos que no. Pero pasado el tiempo, ya nos pediste permiso y no nos dijiste, ya tengo mi banda, ya armé mi banda. Entonces ya no nos quedó otra más que pues apoyarte. Ajá.
Yo
Ahorita
como lo veo es en la misma forma, la misma energía, el mismo, como se peleaban de chiquitos, se golpeaban y no se dejaban, o sea, seguían uno cuidando al otro, uno tras del otro, y ahorita en la música los veo igual, o sea, uno cubre al otro, se siguen apoyando uno y otro, no importa si uno está enojado, pero tienen su compromiso, se siguen. Es igual que de chiquitos, de chiquitos aún traviesos siempre fueron unidos. Los castigaba y cada uno por su lado, y al rato de allá ya se estaban riendo, estaban jugando, no se bajaban del banquito, pero seguían jugando y riendo, o sea, no perdían esa conexión, y es lo que ahorita les veo en la música, también la conexión, la sincronización, ahí la tienen.
Oh, no, they don't like filming. Yeah, they told us they want us filming. Wait till I go straight with these guys?
Yeah, they're going to rip.
All right. Fuck yeah, we're Mexico, you guys. Yeah.
We're in Mexico!
They consider the term gabachos as anybody that's born in the U.S. and so
Yeah, we've been called gabachos by this
or
girl.
gringos, they call us gringos.
Someone from Tijuana who was in like at Echo Park with us at a show we were playing called us fucking like gringos, which made me feel even weird because already like being Mexican American, like Selena's dad said in the movies, like we're not American enough for the Americans and we're not Mexican enough for the Mexicans, so we have to work twice as hard. So now understanding that, somebody from fucking Tijuana coming over here and telling us you guys are gringos, that was like a double whammy that just made me feel really weird. Yeah, because they look nowhere near anywhere as Mexican as we did. You know, they were straight up white. They look like they could be from Jalisco or Argentina. You know, because they treat themselves as Europeans.
Right. You were wearing your guayabera. You were wearing like your huaraches.
And I even played them a song that like I thought like would struck their heart, but they're like, we hear that shit all the time. That's like I don't know. It's weird. It's almost like being traditional.
The crazy thing about cumbia in Mexico is that cumbia is such a fucking mainstream music, like almost like trap music or like rap or hip hop. It's so mainstream that the cool kids don't like cumbia here.
But that's always what cool has been. It's been like a salmon pushing against the current.
Come right, you come right here with your picture.
Right here?
That's to the right.
Okay.
There you are, right there. Okay. How much, so you guys practice in there, right?
Yeah, we're gonna open up that garage, sir.
Oh, perfect. Okay, great.
Make your life a little bit
And
easier.
everybody can hear you, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Quiet. Oh, action.
Oh.
Yeah, get in your costumes. Get in your costumes. Come on. Gina has to go home too. gonna be really cool because it's gonna transition, or maybe not transition into it if we can't show it. But it's gonna be perfect because we're getting the behind the scenes, and everybody's just gonna be like, "Oh my God, what did we miss?" See, so you guys still gotta give it your all right? Because this is the show, so let's do it. We like to highlight big shows with the whole Tropica Mágica, which is what we call the entourage of friends, which is a Tropa Mágica. And we kind of learned that a while back when we started doing like bigger shows. The way to get our friends backstage was to have them perform. That's why, oh, you know, just come on stage, like do something, and we could call you artists. Video recording. We cannot allow any bands to record video footage at any time during Coachella. Any tours with documentary crews will have to exempt their Coachella play from the doc. Video, damn, that's a lot of shit. So what does that render us with, like, what can't we use there? Like this, we can't use it? If anything, you guys could, like, Renee could do a quick little doodle. Or like something.
That's the animation, dude.
Yeah, we can get in trouble with that, can't we? No, right? Well, as a band, the things that have changed, I mean, right now I'm gonna stop teaching. We got a lot of shows coming up, and we're just gonna do this full time, you know, just fully dive into it, which is something not a lot of people do in life. A lot of people decide to go with what's comfortable, with what's easiest, you know. And this for us is not something easy, you know. It's a lot of work, and it's a big risk. And so, but we're taking it with courage, you know. We're not gonna back out of it. It does seem scary because
You sound scared.
although after we what happened, Renee?
You sound scared.